Hello and welcome back to the Living Well with Lauren podcast. We are here for episode 2, where we are going to dive into the 5 daily habits that I recommend for a life of vitality. These are simple tips that you can incorporate every single day to feel better and find the life you're meant to live, or continue on your journey and truly cultivate joy and intention throughout your day. Before we dive in, I just want to start with my disclaimer as always. Nothing I say in this podcast is intended to be advice, medical or otherwise, of any kind. It is only my opinion. I'm just sharing what I've learned and what works for me, and you can take or leave all or part of it. Use your own discernment, and hopefully some of it resonates with you and will help you along your journey. So without further ado, let's dive in. We went over the 5 daily practices that I think are the core to vitality, and we're going to go in a little bit deeper today. Most of them are things that are either all over the internet or you've probably already heard of them, but I truly believe if you combined these 5 things in a meaningful way, and it doesn't even have to disrupt your regular routine or take an extensive amount of time. It will change your life for the better, and you'll probably only be left with wanting to do these things more and more to uncover an even deeper intentional awareness around your goals and your journey and your spiritual connection to this life and the earth and thereafter. So in addition to those of you that are very interested in the topic of vitality and maybe wellness, or you have been on a journey for some time, this episode is also going to probably resonate if you've been feeling depleted or overstimulated, maybe disconnected. These practices can serve as a reset for you to get back on track and really ground yourself in and start to think about where you want to go next. So the first one is morning and sunset light. I think that being outside as much as possible is ideal. That's not going to be possible for everyone. But if you cannot be outside the majority of the day, then the key thing here is that within the first 10 to 20 minutes of waking up, that you immediately go outside. You don't want to be wearing glasses or contacts. You want to let the natural light hit your eyes and your skin. The least covering, the better. Definitely no sunglasses. Definitely not with your phone in your face. You want to really be using that time as a way to start your day. I like to stack this. So while I'm doing this, I also will ground myself, which is another one of these that we'll talk about. But basically, you're going to go outside barefoot. You're going to either stand in the dirt, the grass, the sand, whatever you have access to that's natural. You only need to do this for like a minimum of 5 minutes. You could go all the way to 20 or 30 minutes, whatever you have time to do. At the same time, I'm also going to incorporate the third part of my practices for vitality, which is mineral-rich water. All I do is take an 8-ounce glass of water. You could go down the rabbit hole and make sure it's structured and make sure you have the best filter and that you're adding minerals back into it. And yes, that's all great, but bare minimum, filtered water in a glass with a pinch of high quality sea salt. Drink your water, absorb that sunlight, and ground yourself into the dirt with your bare feet for 5 to 30 minutes. This helps you regulate your circadian rhythm. It supports hormone balance, improves sleep, and it boosts your energy throughout the day. You can do the same thing at sunset, if possible. Not everybody has access to seeing the sunset. Not everybody is home from work in time to see the sunset. But if you can make it a consistent practice to do this first thing in the morning within 5 to 20 minutes of waking, and to do it at sunset, it is going to really, really help your body balance into the natural rhythm that it's meant to. So we just talked about minerals. There's a lot to talk about with minerals. The way that I like to think about it is that our bodies are the earth. They are water. They are minerals. These are the building blocks of life. And without them, our mitochondria cannot regenerate. Our mitochondria is life. It's our body's ability to heal. When the body does not have the minerals that it needs, it starts to stop being able to regenerate as quickly or at all in some areas of the body. So mineral support is so important at a cellular level, and it also helps regulate the nervous system. what you'll find with the things that I talk about is everything is related to energy, the energetic balance of your body, your mind spiritually, with the earth, with universe, with source. It's all connected. And so the more that you can make sure that you're in balance with it, then the more intentional you're able to be, and the more you can really feel what you are supposed to be doing in life, focus, and let go of any of these anxieties or traumas that we have. And we'll do another episode and talk about shadow work and talk about the body and how it stores trauma. And we'll talk about that a little bit today with lymph and fascia. But that is a really something that likely if you start these 5 daily habits, you're going to start wanting to dive into that, because then diving into that brings you to a whole new level of intention and spirituality. With minerals, you can go all the way to the extreme of doing like a hair mineral test, which I think if you're having a lot of symptoms, it can help you. But I think really it all kind of boils back down to, at a starting point, macro minerals. And so making sure that you're doing that pinch of sea salt. If you want to get a high quality mineral packet they have now that you can put in water, you can do that. You just want to really make sure that the ratios are correct and doesn't have a lot of additives in it. But mineral support has been something that has been so helpful for me. I was in a high stress nonprofit career for almost 15 years and going through school at the same time, had kids and long-term breastfeeding. And so all of these things deplete our minerals, especially high stress and trauma. Also, because of the way food is sourced now, our soil is very depleted of minerals. And so a long time ago, our ancestors could really get the minerals that they needed from food to replenish in times of stress, but we don't have that luxury anymore. So it's very important that we are really making sure that our hydration throughout the day and our minerals are in balance. And like I said, this all supports our body's ability to use and move energy and flow. And, in Chinese medicine, that would be like your qi. And it's a really foundational place to start. So we talked about morning and sunset light with grounding and minerals. I just want to add, along with grounding, that you see so many things out there now. So there's like these grounding mats, there's grounding bed sheets, there's grounding shoes, and that's all great. Biohacks are awesome, but you don't need to spend any money. Like I said, high quality sea salt. You can get that for $10, and you just need to get your feet in the dirt or the grass or the sand. And, with grounding, it just depends where you live, but truly, like, you can like touch a big stone or a rock. Like, I don't know if you've ever been like hiking out in nature and you're like so hot, and it's like you're sweating, and then you come around a corner, like an area of shade. And there was this one hike that we were on recently where you came kind of like down the backside of a switchback, and there was just like a rock face like all along the inner side of the trail, and there was no sun coming down there. Like everywhere else, it was like beating sun, and there was no sun around that corner. And what's so funny is that whole corner, it was like 15 degrees cooler. There was water trickling down the side of the rock. And I'm talking like a huge, like 20-foot rock face, like of granite probably. And there's moss like active and thriving, which isn't going to be like that in the sun, right? So it's like two completely diverse environments right there within feet of each other. And I was so hot that I like just put my hand on the stone, and I immediately felt my whole body, my body temperature, my stress level at the time, everything that was going on, like stress from the hike, but also just like stressing in your head, like overthinking, everything just like calmed down and came into immediate balance. The combination of the cool rock, the minerals, like the stone of the earth, it can be very impactful. And you can do the same thing with a tree too. For plants, that's why people love to garden, is because when you have your hands in the soil, it feels like you're so grounded into nature. The next area that I think is really important, and this one is a little bit more in depth, but I do this at night before bed. You actually should do a few of these things in the morning while you are doing your grounding. You can just incorporate it to like get your lymph moving. So all that really means is in the morning when you're grounding, you can do some calf raises, jump around a little bit, like 10 whole jumping jacks, and swinging your arms back and forth could really be all that you need to do. Everyone is different. So for me, I have to do a full fascial and lymphatic stretching routine that I do at night because I have some scar tissue that I'm trying to work on right now. And once that's flowing a lot better, then I probably won't have to do it so in depth every day. But that's again where this is like tailored to you. So if you're just trying to make sure that you're getting flowing in the morning, then you could do that while you're grounding and call it a day. Also, if you're doing a lot of walking, a lot of standing, a lot of movement and exercise, then your lymph is probably going to be flowing a lot better than people who sit all day. If you sit all day and then you commute, you're going to want to do a lot more of the lymph type drainage movement that needs to happen in order to have a detoxification system working properly, because that's really what it is when you're sitting all day and you're stagnant, then you're not able to have your detoxification, like your lymph nodes flowing and detoxing through your liver like they should. So I put lymph and fascial flow together, but they are both very, very in-depth topics and could absolutely be separated. And we can probably do an episode on both of those. What I would encourage you to do is to go onto YouTube and look up lymphatic flow exercises, fascial release. Fascial release and flow is going to be more for if you have some trapped energetic blockages, like if you are familiar with chakras and you know where your blockages are, or it's really like places where you commonly feel a pain or a pinch, it's usually in that area. And that's where you usually have stagnant energy. And a lot of times your fascia is also stagnant there as well. And so there's tons and tons of resources online for different areas and how to release fascia. There's also very talented practitioners out there that can work through energetic blockages with you and how to release fascia in a slow and meaningful way, because you can press on your body all you want. And that goes for massage, muscle release, fascial flow, lymph flow. But if you're not doing it in a meaningful way where you're actually connecting your mind to area and releasing the emotions that are behind the entrapment of the muscle or the stuck fascia or lymph, then it's just going to come back again. So until the mind actually connects the letting go of that area, it is important that you do it in a meaningful way. So instead of only like structured workouts, this is more of an intuitive flowing movement where twisting, stretching, bouncing, and reaching aren't forced, but they should feel good, and you should let your body guide you in how to release these areas that are tight or have energetic blockages. And both incorporating lymph flow movements in the morning or throughout your day and true intentional fascial release practices, either yourself or with a practitioner, it's going to help with so many things: stress, store tension, and it really improves circulation. So if you're somebody who has a lot of scar tissue or blocked lymph or flow, that will help you so much. And lastly, and again, these are in no particular order, clean ancestral diet as much as possible. If you follow me on my socials, that is something that I'm very passionate about. I post clean ingredient recipes and tips for ingredient prep to make life easier. I'm going to be coming out with some shopping guides to hopefully encourage people that you can eat in an ancestral way on a budget and still have delicious meals. But basically what you're going to be doing, you want to focus on real whole foods and the ingredients that your body needs and recognizes. Think about high quality proteins, healthy fats, seasonal fruits, and vegetables. You definitely want to avoid overly processed foods and seed oils. Nutrient density is the most important thing, not restriction. This way of eating supports stable blood sugar, gut health, and long-term energy. It is not about perfection. It is about consistency. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency and simplicity. I hate the word diet. This is not a diet. This is the way that humans were intended to eat. We came on this earth and we ate what we had around us from the earth. And that is the way that we should be eating. While there is a place for processed foods, the earth provides what we need and the nutrients that we need. And the more that we are connected with that, the more our body is going to be in balance. So I don't know if this felt like a lot or felt overcomplicated. I think the part that everybody gets hung up maybe on is like the lymph and the fascial piece because everyone's in a different spot about what they need or their understanding of what that is. Um, but just keep it simple. Wake up in the morning, go outside, put your feet in the ground, drink 8 ounces of mineral water. Could just be a pinch of sea salt, or it could be an electrolyte packet that you like to drink. Give your body to the sun. Doesn't mean stare at the sun, but face, eyes, chest as much as possible for 5 to 20 minutes. If you're someone that sits all day, do a few calf raises, shake your arms around, do a few jumping jacks. If you do all that within the first 10 to 20 minutes of waking up, you've already hit 4 of the 5 daily practices, and then the only one that's left is dietary. So even if you just started there because the diet piece feels very overwhelming to you, I you will feel the difference within 2 weeks. It will make such a difference. Just even the sunlight part will make you feel so much better. They are simple practices, but they are so powerful. They connect you to your body's natural rhythm, and that's where true vitality comes from. If you really sit and think about it, we have sold ourselves this idea that somebody outside of ourselves is responsible for we're giving away all of our power. They're responsible for what we eat. They're responsible for telling us what's healthy, what diet we should be on. They're responsible for telling us what health even looks like, what's wrong with you, quote unquote, how to fix it, quote unquote. And if you really sit and think about it, there are things that are going to happen in our life. And this is where we'll get into like more of the spirituality piece later, but we have only so much control over those things. And when we focus our energy on controlling those things or put ourselves in a victim mentality, victim or villain mentality, then all we're doing is giving away our power. And the whole point is to use our intuition and intention to live the way we were meant to live. And we were put on this earth to use it in ways that give us vitality and the ability to discern what is for us and not for us, and what is within our control and what is outside of our control. So, given that, if we focus in on our mind, body, spirit, its balance, these 5 things, doing them daily, brings us back into that perspective and allows us to flow into a state where we can be very intentional with what we're choosing to use our energy on. So I hope that this episode was helpful for you. I would love to hear if it is. Please leave me a review. I would also love to know if there's other topics that you'd like for us to discuss on the podcast. And I truly hope that you found this information really simplistic and something that is easy to incorporate within your day. I truly believe that if you break it down into these 5 things, it is an easy starting point to feel centered, balanced, and in control of our own lives. So until next time, I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to hearing about if this episode was helpful to you and if you started incorporating any of these habits into your day.